How to stop getting distracted. Hi everyone, Dan back here from The Geek Physique for another video. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. Now I'm going to keep this really simple, but these points have helped me so much. They may be simple, but they're effective. Step 1, make to-do lists. Now like I said, I would keep this really simple and just start by using Notepad or the notes on your phone or an actual written notepad. Don't find some app that says it's easy to use, but you feel like you have to learn to use it to start doing this. Maybe you could move to an app later on, but I've been doing this since 2021 and apps have been suggested to me by mentors, but I think that the thing that you can keep consistent with is the thing that's going to work for you, right? So I would start small and simple with this by using something like I said, good old-fashioned notepad on your PC or the notes on your phone. And I would start small with your to-do list in terms of how many items you have and order them by priority for the ones that you want to complete and that you tackle first, and don't make it too long. Now, if there are nice to haves on the list for the day, I would split them up like that. So you have your must haves at the top, you have your nice to haves, and you have your could haves right at the bottom if you really want to make it longer than it needs to be. But like I said, I would actually err on the side of caution with this and start with the bare minimum. And as you're going through the list, make sure you tick them off. This may seem like a really small thing, but just like in a video game, you're going to release a little bit of dopamine for completing that task. Now, when I say this, it's very easy, and I've been guilty of this in the past, to give yourself busy work and sometimes start with the easy stuff first. If there is stuff that you can just tick off to get you started, that can be effective, and sometimes I do that. But if I know that there's big chunky items I know are a priority, I know they may be somewhat complex, but once I know if I get them done and when I get them done, I will just feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. So not only is it a priority to get it done, but I know that it's going to give me a big sense of reward when I do it. So there's a lot of value in getting that thing done. So I would put those tasks up the list. And actually, if you can, if you run your own business or even in your own job, if you are in control of your time, I would block out your schedule if you can. And even if you can't do that, I would set some time in your day, if you can, up front to get the things you want to do done first, so you get your important work done no matter what. Next, disable notifications. You've probably seen this in a bunch of places. There was that documentary on Netflix, it escapes me the name of it, but it was about social media and the dangers of it. And another great mentor of mine who I actually am part of their mentorship, Propane Fitness, they did a really good video recently on this and mentioned this point, and they mentioned it in a lot of places. And like I said, a bunch of people say to do this, but you should have done it by now, right? If you've seen a bunch of people say to do it, like notifications are really just it hijacks your mind. It's allowing everything else and everybody to have your attention whenever they want it. Gone are the days of actually having phones, with a line that you go and call the people that you care about, maybe a few times a week, and it was expected that people wouldn't be able to get hold of you. But now, for some reason, everyone thinks they should be able to get hold of you. And I would go as far as to say, even for your work, right? People think, okay, I'll disable the notifications from annoying apps that aren't important, but I'll leave my work notifications on. Yes, there may be things you need to action right now, but I would strive for, even if you're not there now, I would strive for you having control of your schedule, you having control of when you get things done. Even if you don't run your own business, even when I was still an employee, I wanted to get myself to that point, and I did before leaving the companies that I worked for, I wanted to control my schedule when I got things done, because I felt like I could get a lot more done and to a much better quality when I could control when I did things, in what amount, at what stages, when I could take breaks and things like that, which I'll come back to later. But disabling notifications is a big step in that journey to free your mind of distraction and to not feel like you're missing out, right? To get rid of that FOMO feeling, it's crucial. And I would only really keep the phone enabled, right? The actual, like if you're getting phone calls, I don't have messages, I don't have WhatsApp turned on. I just, certain parts of the day, I go and check my messages, like I go and check my email, and especially other apps, especially social media apps. Even though I create content and, you know, I need to think about engagement of my content and replying to messages and helping out clients and things like that, I pretty much schedule that all in. So, and even if it's not like a hard thing in my calendar, I will say, okay, at this point of the day, I need to reply to messages, and that will be part of my to-do list. And that will include clients, it will include personal messages, it will include my, you know, my relationship, my family, all of those things. But that means that I'm making time for the things that are important, but people don't have ownership over my time. I have ownership over it. It's crucial. Step 3. Hide your phone. It's not enough to just disable notifications. And I am so guilty of this. If I have my phone right in front of me, which it is right now, if I was doing a boring task or like a repetitive task or something I just had to plod through, I just had to get done, I know that if my phone is right in front of me, it's very easy for me to just pick it up when I feel boredom set in. And we're so not used to boredom now. We can literally, at a moment's notice, be distracted and find something that's actually, you know, interesting to us that will take our attention away. And we all know our feeds on social media are curated based on what we like, what we slow scroll. That's what not a lot of people realize is, even if you don't like a piece of content, if you scroll slowly, the app will take data from that and then show you more content that you scroll slowly on. Okay, so I would hide my phone behind my PC. Now, I know it's in my vicinity, but at least it's not in my eye shot. And this is something that I got from Atomic Habits, and it really drilled this home for me. Make the good stuff easy and the hard stuff hard, right? That might seem glaringly obvious, but think about it in your life, right? If you want to start weighing yourself every day, put your weighing scales near where you brush your teeth, because you brush your teeth every day. If you want to stop using your phone when you're working, hide your phone. If you want to be extreme with it, put it in the other room and maybe even put it on airplane mode. Then you can get a lot of deep work done. You're not going to be distracted by the notifications or by that feeling of wanting to distract yourself when things actually start to get a bit hard. Number 4, I think this is really important. Take breaks. It's fine to need to take breaks. Okay, people will say you should be able to do an hour worth of work. And I think we get this from actually our work and school, that other people put expectations on how much we should be able to do in a certain period of time. And honestly, I don't subscribe to that. Now, I know there's going to be pushback in the comments to this. Well, it's easy for you to say because you run your own businesses. What if you're in some kind of shift work or support role or some people type role? You know, if you're a nurse, you can't determine how long you get to work for when you take breaks. I get that, right? Fair enough. But breaks are still very important. And I would encourage you all who are watching this, if you are going down the route of running your own business, or if you have a side hustle to your normal job, take breaks and schedule them in. And those are the breaks where you do get a bit of cheap dopamine from social media or watch something or have some food or whatever it is. But you need to recharge. At the moment, I'm actually learning to drive. I know you might be thinking it's a bit late, but I do live in London, so there wasn't ever really a need to drive, but I want to. And the best lessons I have is where I take breaks in the middle, maybe have, you know, something to keep my attention running, like maybe a bit of caffeine or a bit of sugar, just to keep me like focused. and you can only take in so much information in a certain amount of time. You can only do so much learning in a certain amount of time, and you can only do effective quality work in a certain amount of time. I believe that. Now, there may be times where you get into a flow state and you kind of run past the breaks you have scheduled. And I think that's okay too. I'm not so rigid with this where you have to follow your schedule to the letter, and if you break it, then you should beat yourself up. But it gives you boundaries and guidelines to follow, and it gives you that sense of, not that sense of dread. And what I mean by that is when you've got a lot of work to do, especially when it's repetitive tasks, boring tasks, knowing that you have a break at the end of it can be the light at the end of the tunnel. And step 5, make sure you reward yourself. People, again, might push back at this, and there's a lot of stuff in self-improvement where people say to cut out all vices completely. And I am not in that camp. I'm going to be honest. And, feel free to berate me in the comments. All the, people who subscribe to 100% retention, and things like NoFap and stuff like that, and going to the full extreme end of the spectrum. And that's fine. There's always going to be people in that camp. And if that resonates with you and that works for you, great. Do what works for you. That's what I said at the start with the notepad thing, right? Do what you can stay consistent with. But what I don't subscribe to is just beating yourself up massively. It's like people who try and lose fat. They have one bad day, they beat themselves up, and then they binge eat and they fall off track because they've had one bad day. Instead, build in good positive rewards for good behavior, right? Reward your good behavior, because again, it's like the breaks thing. It's the light at the end of the tunnel for all the hard work you're putting in. And it reinforces all the good habits you're trying to build. So if you know you have so many emails to get through or to write, and it's boring, you have to do it, it's somewhat mindless. Yes, you have to think, but it's not massively creative. You just have to get it done. Knowing that you then can watch that video you've been wanting to watch on social media, or catch up on that episode on Netflix, or cook, have some food or whatever it is, it's the reward, right? It's like back in tribal times, you go out on the hunt and the reward is the food you get at the end of it. It is literally like that. And it's like in a video game when you complete a mission and you get the experience points, or you level up. There's a reason why that thing keeps you playing, because it's like, yes, the mission may be fun, and in terms of work, it might not always be fun. I know that's the difference between video games and real life, unfortunately. But the thing that's the same is the reward at the end of it will keep you playing the game. And you want to keep playing the game of life, and to keep getting the good work done that you want to get done, right? And assumed in this, kind of implicit in this video, is there's something you want to do more of, or you're trying to do more of, that you find hard to do because you keep getting distracted, right? It might not necessarily be something that's dictated to you from above. So it might not be something in your normal job. It might be a side hustle, or something you're trying to learn, or something to that effect. So you're relying on yourself for the most part, I would expect, to do it. Right? And even if someone is expecting you to get it done, they're not good unless they're micromanaging you every step of the way. You need to be your guiding light. So having a positive reward system for yourself is so key. I've given this example in so many videos, and people will used to take the mickey out of me for this when I was at university. But to get my end of year report done, it was very much on all of us. Yes, you had checkpoints maybe every quarter or every few months, but it wasn't like other lectures where you would be getting checked on and stuff in the same way. It was very much like, yes, you're going to have your checkpoints, but you need to get this done by certain dates, certain checkpoints, and by the end of the year, so you have a really good solid report, and that was the majority of your grade. So what I did to get it done was Monday to Friday, I would say I need to do 10 minutes of deep work on my end of year report. And you might say, well, 10 minutes, what are you going to get done? But it's just to turn up. And I've seen Jay Waller, who's a really good guy to follow, really high level guy. He's given this example with the gym. And he says, just go to the gym. Don't say you're going to do some workout. Don't even say what you're going to do. Just say you're going to turn up and say you're going to do like a 5-minute, bicep workout or something, or 5-minute ab blast. And by the time you're there, you're going to catch some momentum and you're probably going to do a lot more than that 5 minutes. So I would do that, but my reward at the end of it would be to chill with the guys, right? My guy group of friends. And they were astonished actually, like halfway, 2/3 of the way through the year, of how much work I was able to get done and the amount of chilling I was able to do. And it really shows you that we do have enough time to do all the things we want to do in our life a lot of the time. Okay, yes, maybe you will have to make some sacrifices. We have to get priorities right. I'm not saying that. We can't be 100% in all areas. I'm not saying that. But we probably do have time to do the things we want to do more of and still have some amount of balance and enjoy our lives as well, right? Unless you're the best of the best in some given area, it's likely you're watching this video to just start or just keep going at something that you're trying to do. And if that's the case, that doesn't mean you have to cut out all of the things you enjoy in your life. And this is, again, where I lose grounding with some of the other self-improvement people on social media, where they say you have to be completely 100% stoic at all times and you have no chance of enjoyment. Yes, do the hard work first. Yes, do it especially when you don't feel like it. And that's probably going to be the majority of the time, even if you love what you do. But reward yourself after you've done the hard work, because that will reinforce your good behavior and it will make you want to keep doing it. Okay, guys, I'm going to recap on the steps of the video. I hope this has been helpful. Step 1 was make to-do lists. Step 2 was disable the notifications on your phone. Step 3 was hide your phone, maybe even put it in another room and put it on airplane mode. Step 4, take breaks. And step 5, make sure you reward your good behavior to reinforce that good behavior. Now, there's probably going to be a video here or here, so keep watching, guys. Like I said, like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.